Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the final race of the season for the Jandal Racing League. My name's Mark Bratby, and tonight we will be at Donington Raceway. My co-commentator Harry Lillis will be in very shortly. He's just ducked out to go get something to eat before we go. So here we are at the Donington Raceway. We got Duke out on track at the moment, as I just get all the other programs up and running while we wait. So Donington Raceway, ladies and gentlemen, very nice flowing track. I like it personally. Other people might not, but I think it is a very good track. To no extent am I any good at it, but I do believe it is a very nice track here in the UK. I'm just doing a few things here and there, ladies and gentlemen, while we see Duke out there running around on track. So 16 people at the moment. So, for anyone that doesn't currently know, this is the final race of Season 6, and I would like to go out there on the record as saying a massive thank you to all the guys running it. Adrian Platt, I know you are one of the main guys that does everything behind the scenes, and from behalf of me and Harry here in the Combox and behalf of every driver out there, would like to say thank you for running Season 6 and all the behind scenes work that you do here, and jumping in the Combox for one round at Laguna Seca when your steering wheel was broken. So massive thank you to Adrian for running all of this for everybody else to have a bit of fun. So Duke's out on circuit. We got a Thomas Robertshaw out on circuit as well. Adrian Platt's out there. James Foster's out there. Ukraine, or DJ Was, is out there. Chris Broom is in pit lane. Table Flipper Smurfington's in pit lane. Prune Tracy is in pit lane as well. Darren Bridges in car 82 is out on track. John Rambo is out there as well. Ethan Wilcox, Michael East, Robert Mitchell, Paul Huddy, Adam Falconer, James Baxter, Andy Lithgow, and Dad Platt is bringing up the rear of the field at the moment. Hopefully we get a few other people come in. I'll just have to...
I am back.
And welcome back, Harry.
Hello, everybody.
As I said earlier, Harry, you weren't here, but I sent our thanks out to Adrian and all the admin guys for running this. This exceptionally ran season that we have here for Season 6. Something different that we've done, different car every race. It's really thrown a bit of spanner in the work, but not too much. And it's just been a great season for us to commentate.
Yeah, it's been absolutely exceptional, Mark. Just the whole way this season has run. Brilliant idea, creative right from the get-go. Bit of a shake-up from last season, which was good to see. And like you said, threw some drivers in a bit of a loop. Shook it up a little bit. You've obviously got those guys that, are pretty confident on track. Still up there fighting, but, it gives everyone a little bit more of an equal chance, and it's a really creative idea. We really do owe it all to the admins for coming up with it and running this. It's exceptional, like you said. We extend our thanks.
Yep. So, Donington Park, mate, a track that I don't know if either of us have really done a lot of circuit time. Well, for me, certainly since the mid-90s, when it was a heavily featured track in most of the touring car games back then.
Yeah, actually, that's a funny, good point. You said that. I was actually going to bring that up. Most of my time on this game is, back on the old touring car, like Toki games, I think, even as well. Just a really fun track, quite technical, but yeah, I haven't driven much of it on a set of Cosa Competizione.
No, and it's one of those tracks too. It's only 4K. I actually googled this just a minute ago for the stream purposes. So it's only 4.02 kilometres long. So not a very long circuit, but a very sector 1 and 2 can be very telling. The S's, the chicane Duke just went through, that is actually called the S's. So that's pretty easy to figure out. That's turns 9 and 10. That can be a bit tricky. And then the 2 hairpins at the back of the track. Good traction points. And if it's anything like the practice we were just in, there might be a bit of rain.
Yeah, there might be, Mike. Obviously, being in the UK, weather is always unpredictable, especially when it comes to rain. But like you said, this track seems. It's pretty short, 4 kilometres, did you say? Pretty short. But for a lot of that, you're on quite a lot of throttle. Like, it's quite technical in a sense that it's narrow and you've got some medium, low speed. There's a chicane. There's a good mix of corners. But it's certainly one of those tracks that looks quite easy on paper, but it's far from it when you're behind the wheel.
It really is something different for everyone. Turn 1 was catching me out a lot.
Oh, for sure.
There's just no real braking marker, and it seems tight, and then you think, oh, hang on, I should slow down, and then you get into the corner, and it seems to open right up, and then you're like, oh, I can take a bit more speed, and then you go off the track anyway, so...
That's spot on. It's almost a bit blind, isn't it? You don't really know when you can open up the throttle. And It seems to be any car I get in, I'm not sure if it's just me trying to enter with too much speed. I feel like I understeer every time. I just can't get it right.
Yep. So 19 people at the moment. Very busy looking track it may be at the start of the race. Anything we're looking out for, Harry?
Looking out for, we just did mention turn 1. It can be quite hectic because while it seems really open on entry, it tightens up to the right on exit, and then you run down the hill, and if you're 2 or 3 wide, it's an accident waiting to happen. Just the way this track swerves to the right but closes up on the left side, we really do have to watch out on lap 1 mark for a bit of traffic. And as well as that, you've got the chicane. We've got a couple of different skill sets here. Some people will be entering that with a bit more speed than others. Yep. Really, Mark, it's going to be lap 1 and weather.
Yes. So currently weather is 27 degrees and clear. Just having a look, we've got George in the, is that a port? No, that's the M4. Currently at the back of the field, yet to set a time, I do believe. Or he's out on track now. Apart from that, so Michael East currently with top time of a 27.0 to beat.
So fairly strong time there right off the bat. I'm sure it will be topped, or he will go faster at some stage, but from what I've seen in the practice sessions, I think that's a pretty strong time mark. 27 flat. Yeah. I was seeing 28 and even 29, so yeah, pretty quick right off the bat. Michael East in the M4.
Yep. Actually, Michael East is in the Audi.
I was spectating Duke. My bad. Audi.
Michael East is in the Evo 2 spec.
Indeed.
I do believe. Dad Palat up there in 5th at the moment in the Evo 2 spec Audi. So that is the 2022 version of the Audi R8.
A good talking point. Obviously, to those that might not play ACC as often, this week we got the Challengers Pack DLC, which obviously included the brand new 2022 Audi Evo 2, but also the new Porsche Cup car and I think an M2 BMW sort of touring car type thing. Mark, there's a bit of talks in the Discord. I'm not sure what role you really have. You might know some stuff. Not that you'd reveal it, but speculations on next season, including content from the Challenger Pack.
Well, we don't normally do anything as soon as the DLCs have come out. Since this is a paid DLC, I mean, we only done a Brit course, 2 seasons ago, I think, when we first touched all 3 of these British packs. So to confirm that we'd be doing something with this DLC, I mean, it's a pretty well liked DLC from what I can gather. A lot of people have gone out and got it already.
Yep.
Mainly for the Audi, I think. But yeah, as you said, there's a new Porsche Cup car. There's a new Lamborghini Hurricane in the Lamborghini Cup. The Super Trofeo, I think it is.
I think so, yeah. I think a new Ferrari as well.
Yeah, there's the Ferrari Challenger 448. And then, yeah, you got the M2 BMW, which is in a weird league of its own.
It's odd, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see why they added that into the game, but this is Kunos, mate. So anything to get a bit more dollars.
Yep. Anyway,
here we are for qualifying.
Indeed. So we've got an absolute thick train of drivers getting straight out there. It's going to be a little bit hard for them to space each other out before they get their qualifying laps going. Obviously, the first lap, you're still really trying to get your tyres up to temp, especially around here. It does take a few laps just being as short as the track is.
Yep. Would
but
that be
I guess
where, from a respectable driver of yourself, would you overpressure your tyres a little bit and try and get that one lap straight away done?
If you'd want, I mean, typically at the start of a qualifying session, I just want to get a standard bunkering. You might overpressure your tyres on your last run. Maybe when you're running, you know, really low fuel, you're trying to get that absolute, even the hundredths out of your lap. You know, you might run 2 laps of fuel, really juke up your tyres and go for it. But at the start of the session, they're probably just going to take a few laps, get a solid banker in, but then improve it from there.
Alright, so we're riding on board with Duke at the moment, and I'll send it over to you, Harry, for a flying lap around Donington Raceway.
Sure thing. So, riding on board, Duke Delacroix down the main straight, that M4 absolutely screaming. He's actually got a bit of traffic coming out the pit lane, who thankfully gets off the side of the track there, braking, throwing it into the corner, easy to understeer, uses a really comfortable amount of exit curb there, running down the hill. Pretty easy to get it right. It's comfortably flat through here. Maybe if your tyres are low pressures, not, but he's got it turned in, nice and easy. Gets a good amount of curb. You really need to be greedy with that one. A little bit of exit curb. Now running up the hill, grabbing a little bit of curb on the inside there, running up, getting nice, tucked over to the left side of the track before throwing it in, really opening up the corner as much as he can, carry all that speed. An uphill right-hander, blind, really hard to get this right. Oh, he's grabbed a cone there. He's pushed it away into the gravel trap. Pretty tidy though, running down the back straight, approaching the chicane, also an incredibly tough one to get right. But I'm sure Duke can do it, braking a little bit before that marker there, that final one, grabbing just about all the curb he can through the chicane. Running down to the final few corners now. Really tricky hairpin here. It's not even the hairpin, it's a bit squared off. Tough one to get right, but he's kept it tidy. Running up the hill now towards the final corner. Also, it's a bit of a downhill blind corner. You can't see the apex until you're right there, and he's understeered quite wide, but he might be prioritising the exit speed. Duke comes across the line, so it's a banker lap of a 128.2, but he's immediately topped by Adrian at 27.8, which is then topped by East on a 27.2. So we've already got a competitive start to this qualifying session, Mark.
We really have. There's someone behind East. Oh, that's Crosslens starting his lap. Let's bring up a track map for the viewers, if I can. as we got Harry's bird in the background.
I've just noticed that. I've lifted a headphone and I've heard him squeaking. I've just had a facepalm moment.
Adrian's got a bit of traffic in front of him of car 31, which is, where's my mouse? 31 is Duke, as it would be.
Yep.
So, car 43 is Crossland, so 21 people here for this race.
Pretty good turnout. That seems to be the average that we've had so far. We've had some more attendance and less attendance throughout the weeks, but yep, that's 22 now.
And he's just
riding on board with Tracy, who goes for the P2 for now, half a second off Michael East, but a solid banker lap nonetheless in the M4. We've also got Michael East coming across the line again, who improves once more in the 2019 Audi, goes to a 26.9. So a strong lap there. Actually, no, sorry, that is the new one. Still getting to know this car. That is the new one, and he goes, yeah, 26.9. So very solid lap there. Extends the gap to the next car to 8.5 tenths.
Robert Shaw's up half a second on his PB, coming around the final corner, across the line. Puts himself up to second position with a 27.4. So, we got a McLaren there off. That is car 69, which I do believe is a Rambo.
Got a little bit of racing going on in the qualifying session here, just between I think that's Smurfenstein and who was that? Gunter Rowe. So Audi versus McLaren in qualifying. Boys, save it for the race. Just sorting each other out there.
Tracy's up 8-7 tenths coming out of the final corner. What can he do?
Ooh.
Puts himself with a 27.2. Takes P2.
Strong lap there. So he's closed the gap. Tracy is really a driver that we've got to mention. Really shown some strong improvement throughout this season. Just watching him come up the order, and he's always been up there. It's been really good to see throughout all the car changes. He's been staying consistent. So beautiful work there from Tracy.
Yep. Rob Mitchell's up 3 tenths coming out of the final turn. What can he do? This will put him to a 27.6. Bumps Adrian down to 5th. Bridges is up 3 tenths.
Ukraine. I'm not sure who that is. You might know.
That's DJ Watts.
That's DJ Watts. He jumps up to P6 with a solid lap in the AMG. We've also got an AMG off at turn 1. Who is that? That is Huddy in the pink and yellow Mercedes. Green and yellow Mercedes, rather.
28 is Rob Mitchell. He's just teleported back to pits. Darren Bridges is up. Falcon has just lost a bunch of time. Where'd he go?
Ethan Wilcox just started his lap, coming into turn 1. He's currently sitting P17 on a 130.7, so he'll be looking.
Bridges heavily outbroked himself in the final turn.
Could be prioritising his exit.
Oh no, he was dirt. That's how far out. That's how far out he was.
Oh man.
He come in via the old or the other layout. Bit of tarmac.
Oh Jesus.
Duke at the moment's up 2 tenths. This will only put him into the 27s.
So this is interesting, Mark. Duke, obviously, for those that have been tuning in, has been a comfortable front runner throughout the season. Currently only sitting 9th. He'll probably jump himself up a little bit here.
He's half a second. Just
half a second.
10th. What can he do?
He
jumps himself up to P6. Almost takes out that McLaren coming out of pits.
That's actually a problem there, Mark, because what drivers I've noticed are doing is actually throwing themselves slightly into the pit exit across the line, which should be
turn 1.
Illegal. But yeah, they're trying to open up turn 1, and that can actually cause a bit of havoc, especially here in qualifying, where people are really trying to maximise the amount of track they're using.
Yep. And obviously we had Paul Ricard last week with the same issue. you want to enter the pit exit blend line as such to maximise turn 1 radius. So 2 tracks in the last 2 weeks with the same sort of issue.
It's particularly problematic that it opens up pretty much right at turn 1. It's a terrible pit exit, quite frankly, but it is what it is.
It is, and hopefully Kunos can get the updated of Paul Ricard soon. The updated pit lane.
Crossland comes across the line, moves himself up into P7. A nice lap there in the Audi. What's he actually done? It's done a 127.9. Strong lap there.
So, apart from Michael East, 2nd to 7th is separated by 7 tenths. And then 8th back to 15th is separated by 8 tenths.
It really sort of tightens up at the back of the top 10. You know, you've got a fair gaps between, you know, sort of first to even 7th. Oh, yes. So he's slowly getting his way up there. But, yeah, it really tightens up. If you sort of look at, you know, 9th to 12th, there's absolutely nothing in that much.
No. Baxter's had a terrible run out of the final corner to only just improve. Still stays 16th.
Dan Palat comes out of the final corner.
He's a 10th up. Puts him to a 28-2. Rob Mitchell. Oh no, he's just started his lap.
Crossland is the next to cross the line.
Crossland. No, he's down 6 tenths. Car 31. Joe, he's par with his lap at the moment.
I think there may have been an accident. This is the bottom of the hill there in the second sector. There was 2 cars off, but one's gone back to pit lane. Car 60 at Lithgow. So I'm not sure what's happened there, but there was 2 cars on either side of the track. So I'm not sure what's happened there, but perhaps one's caught the grass running down the hill and collected another. I'm not sure, but interesting though.
John Rambo. That's Ethan Wilcox. We don't want him. Come across the line for 18th position. Runs very wide there at turn 1. Who's at 72 just come across the line? That is Dad Platt. No, the 73, sorry.
Spears.
So, car 71, Smurfington is equal. Car 28 is Rob Mitchell. He didn't improve. 810 hasn't improved.
Ooh, Crossland ran a bit deep at the hairpin there in the final sector. Just on the grass there, he's only just got himself out.
He's invalidated that lap as well. So Robert Shaw's the next one to come across. And he's up a 10th. If you can find another 10th, he could go for P3. Duke is up into P2, by the way. Just quietly chipping away.
Oh yeah, he's really coming back up. Can never count him out.
Robert Shaw is 700ths of a second off of Prune Tracy, who Adrian comes across the line. Car 73 is next, which was Mark Beers. He's up 2.5 seconds on his PB. He's only got one Bentley in this race of Chris Broom.
That's a good point.
Not in his BMW M4 this week.
And obviously, if we're talking about cars and manufacturers, it's an absolute McLaren blowout here this weekend.
It really is. It's a McLaren fest. 523, Adam Falconer just had it off. Car 28 is coming across the line. Car 71. Smurfington didn't improve. 31.9 that last lap. Yeah, Smurfington did. So we got Adrian is next.
Someone's just gone off in the second sector. It was a Porsche. I think it was Baxter. Just caught the grass on the... Well, I don't even think he caught the grass. Just oversteered. That Porsche been slapped down a fair bit in the previous few updates.
Adrian
Only
could,
two in...
jump to P5 here. Up 3/10. There he goes, up to P5. And they do really open that first corner up, don't they? Car 15 is next across. He's 1.5 seconds down.
Yeah, he was behind Baxter when he spun, so bit of dirty air and probably went to slow down.
Car 73 is our next one across the line. Mark Beers up 1.7 seconds again.
What's interesting, a good talking point, Mark, just that final corner. There's a bunch of different lines that drivers are taking through there. Some sort of like to open themselves up, really slow up on entry, and then bring it out of the corner, which is probably the better idea, just for that exit speed. But some like to run it a little bit deep and have a bit more entry speed, which might be more beneficial in the race, but I think for a push quali lap, you really just want the exit speed.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to see driving styles just differentiate a bit there.
Yeah, so with just over 5 minutes left, Gunter Rowe up to 7th. Rob Mitchell still currently P6. Almost a tenth of a second between him and Gunter.
So at the moment, we've sort of got drivers out now. Of course, in the dying minutes of this session, getting that car up to peak temperature for their final qualifying runs. A few still in the pit lane, which might be waiting for the absolute peak track conditions, but you do want to get your car warmed up.
Darren Bridges, he's come into that second last hairpin with 6/10 up his sleeve. He's only got a 10th now. So that Porsche's been an absolute handful for him. If I wasn't mistaken, which I'm pretty sure I am, it would look like he's almost driving on wet tyres on a dry track. He's just got there's no confidence in it braking from where I'm sitting. Either that or he's overdriving it.
Could easily be the case.
Expecting it to stop and it's just not. But yeah, James Baxter is up 7/10 coming into the Melbourne hairpin, apparently. Is what it's called, the square hairpin.
It's quite odd how on the track map it's squared out. It's
yeah, it's a very
weird.
unique looking hairpin, isn't it?
It's a little bit more like a I mean, I can't even think of something like a cane. It's quite weird. It just sort of cuts out at the bottom.
Yeah. He moves himself up to 15th with a 28.530.
Tracy's coming through the final corner. I'm not sure what the timesheets are saying.
Up a 10th.
That should improve him up into P2. Yeah, he does. He jumps Delacroix.
Does.
Front row.
Michael East is up a 10th. Coming down the straight, coming through the S's. Still got a 10th. Duke is on an out lap, so we'll keep an eye on that. Car 31 just come out of pits, has he?
We've got Tracy, who's just down in the gravel trap. Start of the first sector there at the bottom of the hill.
Yep.
Interesting.
It'll be about now you'll want to get out of pit so you can do your final push lap.
So yeah, this is sort of what I was saying earlier. This is probably the time when you'd want to jack up those pressures. If you're coming out the pits now, you know, you're only going to have a single outlap.
Yep. Start them where you want them to be. Who's that? 911. That's George. He comes over the line to set a 28.4, which is just under his PB. So that looks to be George's qualifying done and dusted.
Leader of the train here sort of the first across the line, Michael East in P1 at the moment. He's on an outlap. He's currently on provisional pole, 3/10 up, but he's clearly looking to improve. Coming down the back straight, we've got the final, practically, of our qualifying runners crossing the line as we speak, coming around the final corner.
Car 82 will be the last one.
Yep.
Who is 82?
I mean, theoretically, East could get one more lap in.
If he's got the fuel for it, yeah.
So
Actually, that's a good talking point, because Tracy's right behind East. And then you obviously got Robert Shaw, who's in 5th. Then you got car 28, which might just make it.
oh yeah, yeah, no, he'll make it.
26
Maybe.
might even make it.
Baxter might make it. In fact, yeah, Baxter will probably, will be the last to make it. We've got a couple people racing for position here.
Yeah, who
for a lap.
is that?
Have to
Paul
sort it
Huddy.
out.
Paul Huddy.
Oh, this is going to be tight. This is going to be tight. Because one of them needs to back off, but none of them wants to give it up. Oh, this is going to be awful. Andy Lithgow, who hasn't even got a lap in yet, is going to be fuming. So he starts his lap in dirty air. 10th lap, finishes his qualifying session in P12. Comes across the line P11.
Just to give you a heads up, nothing's looking green at the moment on my time sheets.
Oh, interesting.
Nothing at all apart from Andy Lithgow.
Which is the only one in dirty air. I mean, he's going to be green because his lap's 6.3 off the pace. So he's probably going to improve here. He's tucked behind that rear wing of the AMG, which will help in the straights, but certainly not in the technical sections of the track.
No.
And they will be the last ones wrapping up our qualifying session. Just saying Crossland finished his. He's up into the top 10 in the Audi.
Yeah,
So
nice.
a fair few opting for the new Audi. And that is the end of qualifying.
Oh, so Andy must have invalidated somewhere.
Must have.
So Andy comes out in a McLaren. It's got here on the timing sheets he's also in a AMG. So that's unfortunate. Chris Broom obviously not setting a lap because, one, he's already used a Bentley, and two, he's not in this for points, so he's just here for a bit of fun. So, Harry, 26 degrees we're looking at the moment, and what's your thoughts on this race, mate?
Well, immediately on the forecast, 30 minutes up the road, still just a bit cloudy. Obviously, that can change. But from qualifying, big talking point, Duke not on the front row. So
No.
that's immediately something to talk about. Michael East has always been pretty strong, but still, pole position, awesome effort from him there. Tracy as well on the front row. So bit of a shake-up here right off the bat. I'm going to throw it back to you, Mark. Podium prediction.
Podium prediction. All right. I'm going to say East for the win. Adrian P2.
Yep.
And then I think if Robert Shaw can have a clean race, I'll put Robert Shaw P3.
Oh, okay. Okay, so definitely reasonable prediction there. I'm going to go East for the win. I'm going to follow you on that.
Yep.
Seems pretty strong. I'm certainly not counting Duke out. I reckon he'll pip it from Tracy.
Yep.
And then, I'm sorry, Tracy, I'm going to have to say Adrian for P3.
Ooh, okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. All right, we'll leave it at that. I did read we might be racing at night in the end of this because it's ×4 multiplier.
That is a good point.
And it's starting at 5 p.m. virtual time, I do believe.
You're correct.
So yeah, it could anything could happen around here at night. I don't know if anyone's done any practice at night. By the look of it, there's not a lot of lighting around the circuit, so it could be very dark nighttime race.
And naturally, a big talking point just that comes along with a nighttime switch, particularly obviously with such a time multiplier. We've got an hour and a half here. They're starting with the sun still out. Track's pretty warm, 26. As we go into the night, that track temperature is going to have to come down, and it's going to be a pit stop. So drivers are going to have to be adjusting their pressures for the pit stop. They'll probably have to change tyres. You'd think, depending on how late into the night we go.
Well, times 4 multiply, you'd go 9, 10, 10:30,
Come on,
11 o'clock. I'd imagine.
I mean, definitely a shift in pressures.
Yeah, so we've already lost a degree in track temp, and they haven't even got the cars off the hydraulic jacks yet. So, tyre pressures start them a bit high, expect the track to come down, would be my thought. But why I'm in the com box and they're in the driver's seat is very clear, because they're about 3 seconds a lap quicker than what I am. So,
well, it's definitely. I'm not sure, because I haven't really had a chat with any of them about strategy. You'd think in an hour and a half you're switching tyres anyway, right? Or no? Am I wrong?
Where was our last hour and a half race? Is that Imola?
Probably, yeah.
And a few guys tried. Well, Michael East won that and didn't change tyres. So, but I think temps are going to play a big factor here, Harry. And I don't think you'd overpressure them now to compensate the nighttime driving. So you're going to have to take tyres.
Most definitely. Man, I've just got this camera angle looking down the main straight, dead in the eyes of that BMW. At the back of the grid, that Bentley is gigantic. I just see the roof of it peeking over everything else. Man, that's just a unit. I know that car is huge, but that is outstanding. Anyway, 25 seconds. The cars, you can see, getting off the jacks, getting dropped onto the ground. Drivers loaded up their setups, probably having a bit of banter in the voice chat. But that will be going quiet pretty shortly.
Yeah,
full formation.
A good thank you for everyone's attendance, and keep it clean at turn 1.
Exactly. The usual
happens. So, here we are, Harry, for the last time this season. I'll throw it to you for the grid war.
Beautiful. Man, just say once again, been an absolute pleasure commentating this season, and I'm sure I hope we'll be back at it next season in the combox, or even just out on track together. But for the final grid walk of the season, Michael East takes pole position in the brand new Audi Evo 2. Be happy with that. Tracy lines up alongside him in the BMW M4. Nice qualifying there. Behind him, another M4. It's Duke Delacroix. So, first time in a long time, he hasn't been on the front row of the grid. He lines up alongside Adrian Palat, who's been a bit of a rival for him this season. It's been good watching these two fight out for pace. In P5 is Robert Shaw in the McLaren, and I'll be saying that manufacturer's name a bunch of times throughout this race. In P6, we've got Mitchell in a McLaren. Bridges gets one of the only 2 Porsches in the session up into P7. He's followed by 2 Audis. We've got Rowe in P8 and Crossland in P9. Capping out the top 10, we've got an M4 of Falconer. Strong qualifying there. Followed by DJ Was in the AMG GT3. In P12, we've got Dan Palat in the Audi, the new Audi that everyone seems to love. In P13, he's in a bit of an AMG sandwich. He's followed by Huddy in that pink and green thing. Behind him is, I'm going to butcher this last name, Curry in the 911 M4. He's followed by Baxter, who had a rough qualifying session there. He just spat onto the grass where he's coming through right now. So he starts P15. He's followed by Foster, starting P16 in the M4, who is then followed by a train of 3 McLarens. We've got Smurfenstein, Rambo, and beers. Capping out the top 20, we've got Ethan Wilcox in the Mercedes AMG. And on the back row of the grid, we've got a McLaren Lithgow, who had a rough qualifying as well, and Broomy in that big old golden Bentley in P22. I'll hand it back over to you, Mark.
Yeah, so a very interesting grid. Couple of talking points. Ethan Wilcox won at Nürburgring from the back of the grid, from the pit lane actually. So don't count him out. Chris Broom in his Bentley. Yeah, we can't obviously cut him out either. But here we go. They're starting to warm their brakes. Coming into the final of the hairpins. Michael East has got the control of the field. Very good looking field, I might add as well. Not a lot of manufacturers, there's only 5 I think. So it's a pretty tight manufacturer race, but here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are off and racing. Michael East, Prune Tracy on the outside. This is going to be touch and go here for the outside line, guys. Duke already up on the inside there. They're pushed wide. Adrian's in the dirt. I don't think there's any contact. There's no yellow flags at the moment. Duke's still on the outside line trying to get past as everything goes topsy-turvy. So we've got Michael East, you've got Tracy, you've got Duke, you've got Adrian hustling Duke behind him. And then you got Robert Shaw, Mitchell, Bridges, Rowe, Crossland, Dad Palat around out the top 10. Huddy, George, Baxter, Foster, Rambo, Smurvington, Wilcox, Andy, P18, Broom up to 19th, Ukraine down to 20th. Beers and Falconer rounding out the field at the moment. So back up to the front into the Melbourne hairpin for the first time.
Ooh! Adrian forced late on the brakes there by his fellow McLaren. I think that's Mitchell. He's just topped in there. Actually,
Shaw.
sorry, that is Robert Shaw, yeah. So late on the brakes there, Adrian got onto the dusty line and he's butchered his braking mark. He had a bit of a rough start. He was on the grass at the exit of 1, and Duke as well was forced onto the outside line, understeering on those cold tyres. And lap 1, pretty clean start overall. But yeah, certainly a few rivalries brewing already in the last race of this season.
Yeah, already. So we're at 24 degree track temp. There's a bit of dirt being flicked up there at turn 1 again. So Michael East with a gap of a second at the moment over Tracy, over Duke. Not very often we say Duke's in P3. Robert Shaw seemed to gap Adrian quite a bit. Already. Adrian's getting hassled by Rob Mitchell, and Bridges is in that. Well, there's just a massive train of them. So, at the moment, we go into the middle of this little battle here. Got a Porsche, an Audi and an Audi. Oh, Gunter's having a look at Bridges into the S's. He's just backed out of it.
Ooh. Sorry. Rowe has got a bit of a run on Bridges into the hairpin. He's braking a little bit early. He's let Bridges have that corner there. He himself is being chased down by Crossland. So, yeah, we've got a hell of a fight brewing here already. A few fights. So, we've got East leading the field still. He's gapped Tracy by not actually that much, only about half a second. So, Tracy holding on there. But yeah, like you said,
we got
Robert Shaw
in the pits already.
Ooh, that's a good point.
So wonder if he's had an accident. Actually, Michael East has actually been caught by Tracy by a tenth and a half that last lap. So East might not be fully comfortable with a full load of fuel in. Duke's 7/10 off the pace. And then Robert Shaw's a further 10th off his pace.
How often can you say that Duke's 7/10 off the pace? That sentence I don't think has ever been said. Let alone not this season, just in general.
No. Ukraine's still sitting in pits. I don't know what's going on there. Nothing by the look of it. As Dave, the cameraman, finally pans over to him.
Ooh. Bit of a fight between an M4 and a Bentley in the back here.
Ooh,
it's Broomy and Foster. They were side by side at the start of the back straight, but Foster running away just before the chicane there. That Bentley, probably his strongest point would be the chicane, just being able to mount it, just gobble the curbs up.
Mount it without conception. Just absolutely destroy it. But that M4 seems to like curbs, and it's not an overly big sausage curb or anything there at the chicane either, at the S's. So most cars should be able to take that. Broomy's having a look into turn one. Can he make it stick? I think he has.
Wow.
He has.
Great move.
Great move by Broomy. Ukraine's out of pits now. He's 3 laps down. Or 2 laps down. So Chris Broom up to 14th already.
Another thing, Mark. Track temp's already down to 23.
Yep.
So that's a further 2 degrees down from when they got going on the formation lap. Oh, Broomy. It's a bit tail happy.
There's a lot of debris around that corner just then.
Yeah, there is. Someone's... That's interesting. Good point.
So we've got Rowe and Crossland still battling, and Bridges has pulled away from these two a little bit here in the 2022 spec Audis. So they're fighting for themselves, which has let Bridges run away and slowly catching Mitchell and Platt in the two McLarens in front of him.
So this is what I'm talking about here, Mark. Just Mitchell there choosing to run a bit deep. Adrian running a bit of a tighter line there, hugging the inside. And Mitchell's all over the back of Adrian. He's holding on, putting on the pressure, and it's probably helping Bridges
come back,
stay within that position. Yeah.
Well, that previous lap, hang on, that previous lap, Adrian did his PB, and Michael was a 10th and a half slower. So, just to give you all clarification, Michael East has just done his PB and the fastest lap of the race with a 27.557.
Guy's on fire.
And Duke's only done a 28.1. So Robert Shaw is a 28.1.
It makes me think, Mark, it might be a stretch. Do you think that Duke is over-pressuring his tyres at the moment, and that's why he's backed off the pace a bit? It will save him a pit stop later on, and it will keep his tyres in the optimal range at the back end of this race. Do you reckon that could be a possibility here?
It could be. It could be. Gunter Rose had an off, actually. Where is he?
Oh, he's
made. Keep it off the wall. Oh, lucky.
He stopped it.
I reckon he's going to teleport that to pits. So back onto Duke. Do I reckon he's over-pressured his tyres? Possibly a little bit, because he is getting caught by Robert Shaw at the moment. He has just had surgery for something, so he hasn't had his usual regime of practice for 6 days and then just come out and blitz the field. So this might just be his normal running pace. As I say that, the leaders are now battling. Tracy is on the back of Michael East in the M4.
Germany versus Germany. I mean, most of this field is German manufactured, of course, other than McLaren. But Tracy really holding on to East here, not letting him go in the early stages of this race. Dirty air would be a predominant factor here, but also you've got plenty of straights to hang on to someone if you've got a car with any legs. And Tracy's actually got a nice run through that final corner. But East prioritises the exit speed, running a slightly wider line than that yellow M4. But yeah, this is a battle that'll probably continue to evolve as this race goes on.
Robert Shaw had a bit of a moment there at the end of that lap. He lost a second on Duke. Second and a half on Duke. Now he's... if he makes another big mistake, he'll have Adrian Mitchell and Bridges coming for him for that P4. So Dad Palat up to 8th position in his Valentino Rossi paint scheme of the Audi R8 2022 model. And yes, anyone that was wondering if I mispronounced that, no, Rossi is now racing 4 wheels rather than 2 this season in real life. Anyway, so
awesome to see.
It'll be interesting to see whether or not he can be as quick on 4 as what he is on 2. But Huddy's got himself George fighting him for 10th position. George is, I thought George was having a look then to the S's.
He's actually compromised the run of Huddy, and he's got the better run down into him.
Oh, he gets it done. He's cut his nose.
So George there putting on the pressure into the chicane, setting it up nicely. While he wasn't going to get the move done at the chicane, yeah, really sets himself up for a nice clean move into these cut-off hairpin.
Broome's going to get a position out of this. So Broomey up to 11th.
So Huddy perhaps seeing a bit of red mist after the move there, making a few mistakes. He's dropped 2 positions in a matter of 2 corners.
That's unfortunate. Michael East has still got Tracy right behind him. So I'll just give you a quick look at the map. So there's our leaders. Duke's off by himself. Robert Shaw's starting to pull away again from the following 3. And the leaders have got... last position has just come through Melbourne hairpin.
I think, Mark, Bridges has really closed in on these 2 McLarens of Adrian and Mitchell. Sort of got a 3-way fight for P5 here.
Yes. Yeah, Bridges was actually quickest out of the 3 last lap. So
there you go, he's right on the back of him.
Porsche's coming into its own now. Into its own territory. Obviously having the double slipstream of Mitchell getting it off Palat and then him getting it off Mitchell will help a little bit. Mark B is down in P16 at the moment.
He's come up a little bit, I think.
Yeah, he has, yep. Ethan Wilcox is down P19. He's dropped a couple. Gunter Rowe is still out there circulating.
I think Baxter's come up a fair few spots. I might be wrong, but I do not remember
Bridges
being P9. Oh, yes he has. So he's dropped off the back. Well off the back of the slipstream of the McLaren.
Yeah. So that was as he was coming down the hill into turn 2-3 section. I didn't actually catch him what happened, but it will be on stream.
He's now being chased down.
Now he's got
by what? Yeah.
So the prison warden by day, the Audi R8 driver by night. What can he do?
We will see.
On the Porsche sandwich. Bit of a gap between the one behind him. But it is still a sandwich nonetheless. Michael East and Tracy still right there. Duke's actually starting to catch them just a little bit. Duke was the quickest out of the top 3 that lap.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello. Oh, we got here.
Captain Andy.
The one and only Captain Andy.
Hello, Captain Andy. Welcome to the stream, mate.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I got my doppelganger driving in place of me tonight. So
Oh.
he wasn't able to get into the server, so Daniel's jumped on my steering wheel.
Oh, very, very well thought there.
Yeah, so he's driving way better than what I am, mate. So,
Saying that, he's having a massive moment there coming onto the back straight. And he's about to have the leaders come up to him. So, coming in...
I walked in on him before, and he was spent more time on the grass than the asphalt.
Well, you might want to get out of the way of the leaders, or there might be some foul language.
It's that in the oh, there he is.
There he goes. He's let the leaders go. Cost them a little bit of time, but nothing to stress about. As long as he doesn't run up the back of Tracy.
Actually done pretty well there. The gap is pretty much the exact same from East to Tracy, so it's not cost him anything there really.
No.
So nice clean
Duke
work.
did have a massive slow lap with the 29.5. So he lost a lot of time somewhere as well. So maybe the painkillers haven't quite kicked in for this week's race there for Duke. He's got Robert Shaw coming in closely now.
Missed the first few laps. Was there much excitement?
Oh, hang on.
Getting a bit loose.
Daniel's off again. Was there much excitement on the first couple of laps? No, it wasn't. It was relatively clean, I think. Ukraine got caused into something, but I don't know what.
Really, the only things that happened on lap 1 was Adrian running wide at turn 1, I think, grabbing the grass. That
was always going to happen, having the outside line.
Yeah.
At the start, so.
Yeah. Well, you've got a lot of runoff area in this track. It's you can actually go off a little bit on a little bit of a venture and remain undamaged.
Yeah. But apart from that, mate, yeah, it's been relatively clean. Few mishaps here and there, but nothing for people to complain about at the moment.
Look,
Bridges.
I've got the stream up on the telly on YouTube, so don't know. I've got you guys on Discord on the phone.
Beautiful. So, Dad Palat having a look at Bridges. Bridges still arguing this point in what is a nice colour scheme there for the Porsche, actually. I don't mind that.
It's very similar to what I was driving in at Hungary not too long ago, just in the practice session. It's almost identical. I was running a bit of a black and purple scheme. It is a very nice colour combo on that Porsche.
Yeah. I don't like it. Like a purple penis.
Like a... yeah, right.
They've even got the stripe up the middle.
It's much better than the Valentino Rossi fluoro green.
Yeah, I suppose.
So...
that new Audi looks alright.
I don't know, it doesn't look any different apart from the rear wing being hanging.
Crazy.
Yeah, hanging.
Yeah, it's sort of scalloped, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hanging rather than being supported up like the old style wings.
Yeah, it does handle a lot better.
Does it?
Than the old, yeah.
I've yet to drive any of the new cars apart from the Porsche Cup car, so.
Yeah, that's a killer.
Oh, yep. I can comfortably say that around here.
Yeah, and the Ferrari as well. The new Ferrari that basically lights up the wheels and all about up to 4th or 5th gear.
Is that the same as the Porsche Cup car? It's got no traction and you can't adjust any of the dampers.
No, I think it's got traction control, but it's just a V8 twin turbo.
It's just a Ferrari thing.
No, it's like just gets on a power band. It's like a 2-stroke motorbike.
Yep. Michael East just starting to pull away now from Tracy. Ever so slightly. We're down 6 degrees from start.
So as that track temp begins to drop down, we might see some position changes just based on drivers, their chosen starting pressures. Some may be choosing to start off a little bit higher, which will be coming in to reap the benefits now. As I was saying that, I do believe Duke has slightly closed in on the leaders, but not quite sure. Tracy, of course, still holding right onto the back of Michael East here. These two haven't been able to be separated for the whole course of this race so far. 20 minutes in, and they really haven't even jostled even a few tenths. So,
No.
good to see the battle.
Duke's just starting to pull away again from Robert Shaw. So Robert Shaw will be left on his own again shortly.
So what BMW is Duke in?
The M4.
M4? I thought he already raced that.
Has he?
Geez.
Why do I feel like he raced it at Alton Park? Am I wrong?
I don't know.
You might be right.
I feel like it was Alton Park.
It's interesting he came out in the Beamer because he was rebelling on about the Honda earlier on, and everyone was trying out the Honda. Thought it might have been a Ruth. So there's no Hondas there, is there?
No.
Nothing.
No Hondas, no Nissans, no... What else isn't there?
Aston.
No Astons, yeah.
I nearly took out the V8 Aston. Cross up between that and the AMG.
Yep.
When Daniel couldn't get on off of he's raced better than me. Playing at the time. Got him set up on the Club Sport wheel.
Oh, look out.
He might be struggling a little bit on that, so.
So, you're still a lap in front of Ukraine at the moment?
What happened to Ukraine? Did he have a bit of an off, did he?
Yeah, he had an incident lap 1, but I don't even know what happened because he was mid-pack qualifying. And then, I noticed he was stuck in pits for 2 laps, so...
Are you running the broadcasting software?
Yeah, Roger.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You haven't got it set. You've got it set on auto, or?
No.
That's pretty good when you get it tweaked up. It'll find all of the close races, all the close racing.
Yeah. So at the moment, Tracy's half a second up. There's another bit of lap traffic there. Is that John Rambo? I think it is. They've just passed.
And it's good to see the support out there for Ukraine. Still flying large.
Yeah. There's someone in pits. Harry, who is that in pit lane?
Car number 60, so that is Lithgow.
It's Daniel.
Young Daniel.
At least you're pronouncing our last name correctly this week, mate. Not like last week. Hang on. Daniel's
Beers is having an off.
Daniel's walked into the lounge.
Oh, he has.
Beers is having off. Where is that? That's coming up the hill. He's got the leaders coming fast. That. How bad is that sun glare for these drivers at the moment?
Yeah, it'll be shocking, especially coming down this way where you're sort of facing the sun. It's not too good.
He's just gone straight at the S's. Oh, beer slap.
Oh, Tracy's really getting in the mirrors here of East. Almost looks like he was going to dive down the inside into that hairpin there. My lord, Tracy's really looking for this lead now.
I reckon East has under-pressured his tyres. I don't reckon Tracy's over-pressured it. I reckon he's just still a little bit cold, but I reckon East is colder than Tracy. Just the way he's he's always moving his car around in the straights, like he's trying to get heat back into the tyre. As we're saying, we've been racing 25 minutes real time. We've already lost 2 hours, so
yeah, that's unreal. This is going to run right into the night.
Yeah, track temp 19 degrees, 7k winds out there. Chris Broom in P10 at the moment, starting from last position.
From the rear?
Yep.
Yeah, he does alright every week, doesn't he?
In his Bentley. Throws up a bit of sparks there out of turn 1. The only thing this game needs to involve is that part. You know how when you overrun a ripple strip, it starts to dig that little bit of extra dirt out?
Oh, Tracy's got to run through the chicane.
Back here we go.
Oh, there's contact!
There's contact. He's hit him. He'll have to give that position back for sure.
He's going to have to redress that. He's going to have to redress that, Mark. He's actually come across there in the braking zone.
I don't think he is. Oh,
that's going to be heated.
Tracy's gone deep as well.
I'm going to have a look at that again, just for the sake, before I make another comment.
I haven't seen it on the stream yet. Oh, here we go. Oh! Oh, yeah. I'm a bit delayed there.
I'm going to have another look at this from the camera of Tracy. So they've come through the chicane. Tracy's got the much better run. And East has chosen the inside. Oh, yeah. East has actually turned left, heading into the braking zone.
Oh.
So East actually changed his line when Tracy was, well, after the line had been chosen.
Beside him.
I don't think Tracy did anything wrong there. Yeah, East has come across that. He's going to have to give that back, in my opinion.
Yep.
That's quite harsh.
He hasn't. He's still pushing.
He won't, mate. He won't. Not the way he races.
Daniel has a 30-second stop go.
Yeah, he's having some issues with the wheel. It's set too high for him, so I think you'll probably find he'll pull out.
Oh, yep. We got a John Rambo in the pits. My phone's going crazy with everything else.
So where's Meath? Does he just...
He's run up the road about 3 seconds.
He's 2.7, yeah.
Yeah, see, I don't think he'll see that he's done anything wrong there.
There's a yellow flag in front of him.
It's clear as daylight on the replay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, from what I've seen, it's like he's forced the issue and actually turned into him to get back on the line.
Yeah, and it was a change of line when he pretty much got on the brakes. You can't do that.
He is slowing, Michael East.
There we go. Oh, that's one way to... Or maybe he's just brought the gap back. Because, yeah. Okay, that's probably the best way to go about it.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Well, I mean, it's not fair, but starting to see a couple of pit stops now, Harry.
Indeed, we are. We've got a few people in the lane. That is Foster in the M4, car number 188, and we've also got Smith and Stein, car number 71 in the McLaren. The first of the, I think, proper pitters based on strategy.
Yeah, I think it's still a bit too early.
Yeah, I think so as well. You've still got over an hour on the clock.
Track temp's going to come down.
Plenty of time. Yeah. Exactly. The track temp is...
Robertshaw's got Duke. Duke's down to P4.
He has? Wow. Yeah, Robertshaw. That's, big talking point.
So, Robertshaw up to third after his girlfriend's allowed him the weekend to race.
Can you actually say that?
Well, I don't know if I can, but I just did. And
Frankly, I'd be actually having a bit of a look around behind to make sure Tracy's not going up behind.
She's not in the room, mate. It's all right.
Oh, okay. She probably heard it though.
100%. 100%. So.
Now, did Mitch end up giving that position back? He didn't. He just sort of down.
He reduced the gap.
He's reduced the gap.
Yeah, I was almost impressed, but I'm not.
Hasn't.
He would have readdressed that.
Hasn't given it up. You'd think he'd just readdress it there and then.
Yeah, I think the competitive spirit runs rather deep.
Rather thick flowing.
Mm.
So top 4 now are all on the same part of the track. So that's Adrian Platt. I don't think either of us are going to get Adrian here, Harry, in the podium playing positions at the moment.
Race isn't over. Still plenty of time for a weather switch up.
Yep, still an hour to go. Still 7k wins, being England weather. Anything's possible. Bridges is still holding off Dad Palat for P7. So
that battle's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
Similar gap as well. It really hasn't been letting off between those two cars there, the brand new Audi and the Porsche there. So
I tell you what, there's been some little mind games going on throughout the week about who's driving what car. There's been a lot of ruses going on about who's driving what.
Bridges just had a bit of a moment. Dad's got around him. So I don't know if you've looked, Harry or Andy, at the new Lamborghini Cup car. I'm just going to call it a Cup car.
I like the look of that spine down the middle.
Yeah, I was just about to ask that. It's got that shark fin that the F1s had in, what were they, 2015 I think it was?
2017.
2017,
sort of.
yeah. It's got that weird looking shark fin in it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm happy with it yet. Obviously, I haven't driven the car.
I mean, you've got, obviously not in this game, but there's a lot of different aerial innovations going on at the moment, particularly the prototype Peugeot with no rear wing at all.
Ah. Okay.
Currently in development, they're trying to have it at Le Mans, I think within the next 2 years, and it'll compete in the hypercar class, and it doesn't even have a rear wing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, was it working on like the Venturi effect, like the old F1 cars, where it sort of sucks it down onto the road?
Yeah. Well, it kind of like the current F1 cars where they're using the
ground effect.
There. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. The ground effect. There, right. So.
And sorry to cut you off again, but
no.
Another example of aero changing is in this category. Obviously, like you mentioned earlier, the Audi R8 Evo 2, the rear wing sort of, like you said, hanging down rather than sort of being stood up by the little the two arms. So it's kind of odd, but
yeah, the M4's got it as well. If you look at the M4,
that is a good point.
That's
wow.
Yeah, I hadn't noticed that.
That's the way I tell them apart from, obviously the M4 looking different to the M6, but the Audi, the old rear wing and the newer rear wings, everyone seems to be going that hanging style.
The droopy rear wings.
Yeah, rather than the supported rear wings. Obviously,
that's
to give them more downforce.
Impressively observant of you, Bretby.
Oh, thank you. At least I'm decent at something around here. There's a car off there. Who's that in the mud? That is
he's slapped the fence. That bonnet that's kicked up.
Well, they're not there
I think
now,
he's
so
left
I can't
the
see
session.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, they did lose the session.
So who we got? Is Daniel still driving, Andy?
It looks like it, doesn't it? He's not in the pits.
He's out there.
Yeah, he's still going. there he is, coming down the hill.
I told him to make some adjustments to the steering wheel.
As I say that, he's just had enough.
Ah, okay.
Is it Rambo that's left? Yes, it is Rambo that's left.
Oh, that's a shame. He usually sticks around.
Yeah, I think after that hit...
He absolutely walloped the fence. The bonnet was kicked up quite a bit, so yeah, no, that's a race ender.
Tracy's in pits. Hurry.
He is. That's a big talking point. So,
as well.
Will East pit to cover that off? We'll have to see. And another thing with that will be risky for Tracy, where he comes out in traffic. There seems to be a fair few cars coming through the final sector now. The last thing he'd want to do is leave East with all the clean air in the world and get caught up in traffic, but he's going to have to do it at some point, and it's probably around the time you'd expect. I mean, drivers could come in within the sort of next 20, even 30 minutes, I'd say.
Well, we know Chris Broom usually runs...
Fuel, isn't it?
Sorry, Andy?
It's only for fuel, isn't it?
Yeah, tyres aren't compulsory, but we were saying at the start of the stream, with how cold it's got, well, we've almost dropped 10 degrees. Pressures might be the issue more than the grip level for tyre factor this race. Obviously, grip you'd well, I won't say comfortably make it, but you'd obviously get the tyres home for an hour and a half. But depending how hard you start them, I guess. Michael East does another lap. So no pit stop for him. Robert Shaw is still going, and Duke is still going. So
it's interesting. Tracy's dropped down to P10.
Yeah, because he's
or 11.
Obviously pitted there.
Yeah, that pit stop.
But so he's really the only one in the top 10, or competing for a top 10 that has pitted, and he's come out behind a little bit of a battle here. He's got a bit of clean air for now. But he will be suffering dirty air, no doubt. In the meantime, East is running away with all the clean air in the world. We did suspect earlier that East might be running lower pressures, which is... We saw him struggling a little bit earlier, which actually caused that better run that Tracy had through the chicane. And just looking from his driving style now, he seems very preemptive with his cornering. I think he's braking a bit earlier, turning in a bit earlier. Seems to be symptoms of low pressures, so we'll have to see what happens strategy-wise here.
Well, when you look at, was it Imola, he stayed out until the last minute and stayed on the standard tyres as well.
Yeah.
I think Tracy's actually come in and got tyres, and that's why he's dropped down so far.
Yeah, again though, I don't think it's going to be grip that's the issue. It's going to be how you can keep the heat into the tyres. Someone else is ducking in the pits there. Oh no, I thought someone was ducking in the pits. It's Baxter getting out of the way.
Yeah, well, if they've come out on lower pressures, they're going to be well and truly low by the end of this race, because that's going to go into night. It's going to drop down a lot.
Yeah, yep. Adrian's still having a good battle here with Rob Mitchell, tucked up behind the rear wing. Two McLaren drivers. So while we've got one of the guys here for next season admin, Andy, anything you wish to announce for season 7?
Well, I don't think I am going to be next season's admin. It'll be the season after.
Oh, you're season 8.
Yeah.
Ah, coming back to the. Are you coming back to the office chair? Are you, mate?
Yeah, I'll probably stick my nose in a bit more this coming season, so I've sort of reset my life a little bit. So.
Yep. Good work. Good work. So you can't divulge season 7's news.
Not until it's announced. No.
We tried. We had to
There's
try.
no harm in trying.
No, that's right. That's right. We had to try.
Tracy does say that you're very trying.
Copy. I think she tries more than me, but anyway.
Yeah, roger that.
A couple more in the pitch. It's getting pretty cloudy too, Harry.
It sure is, Mike. Still only cloud on the forecast, but that can change. You've got a car off.
It's only every 7 minutes that we're getting
Yeah, I've noticed that.
times too.
Is that virtual like sim time, or is that actual time?
So that weather format is actual time, I do believe.
Right. We've just got a car off. Wilcox in the second sector. He's just parked it. And we've also got another car off. Oh, it's let go again. Poor guy's struggling.
Poor Daniel.
He's struggling a little bit out there, but seems like he's having a good time. He's still going. That's all that matters. So.
Yeah, but that old weather's not looking that great. It's very cloudy in the background.
It is, isn't it? Wonder what Wilcox is doing.
I don't know, but I think the track's about to get a little bit wet.
Yeah, it's not looking overly great there, is it?
No.
It's really not. Michael East is in the pit lane.
Oh, he is. Okay, so the race leader coming in for his stop. Engine off. He is in the box. We'll have to keep an eye out now, of course, on Tracy. That M4 is coming down the back straight now. He's had clean air. And we'll have to see where he comes out here in relation to Meest. Will Meest change his tyres? Will he not?
You'd be mad not to, honestly.
Meest has come into the pits and he's got to drive through.
Yeah. You'd be mad not to take tyres, in my opinion. You've got 50 minutes of a track that's down to 18 degrees. He's dropped down, and he's away.
Ooh.
Well, I think that was a 30-second stop, which would mean tyres, I think.
Yeah, 32.7 according to mine.
And he's coming out. He's going to be ahead of Tracy by more than when Tracy came in.
Yeah.
So that's a major talking point there.
The old beer slayer's got the old drive-through.
Ooh, he has. Is that for speeding?
Wilcox parked there for a while. He's either parked or bogged.
Well, if he doesn't hurry up and get it out, he might be permanently bogged. With the way this sky's looking, it's looking very dark there behind the Melbourne hairpin.
Well, Danny Palat told me before he's gone out on the BFGs.
On the
He should be fine.
Beer Slayer's back in the pits, serving his drive-through.
Nice. That weather's looking rather crap. It's got to rain, doesn't it?
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking shocking
Guys, I
out
might
there.
leave you to your expert commentary, and I will take my leave of you and watch the rest of it.
Thank you for
Good
joining
luck.
us, Andy, and we'll speak later on, Chief.
Okay, cheers, buddy.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
guys.
So, Adrian's currently up on a PB, only of a 10th, but it's still up. Tracy's up. Michael East is now up as well. So where's East? Turn 1, that's why he's up so much. So there is a bit more of a gap. Darren Bridges is now in pits as well.
I'll be right back, boys. Sorry.
No, you're right. So Darren Bridges gets serviced, taking tyres by the look. Be cool if we could actually see the pit crew. Thomas Robertshaw's in the pits. So here we go. Duke's now leading the race. 29 laps into it, and Duke's first lead lap. When have we been able to say that all season? Adrian now comes and takes P2 off Robert Shaw. Rob Mitchell P3. Still 8k wins. Now let's see where Robert Shaw comes out compared to East. This is where the telling sign. He's still up in the air. Running Jensen Button's McLaren. Team-owned McLaren, I should say. So Robert Shaw. I'm pretty sure we just had Tracy and East drive past him. And there's George in the other one. So Robert Shaw's down into, what is that, 8th position. But I was going to say he's right behind Tracy, but he's not. He's a long way off Tracy. He's got George right behind him though. George still yet to pit. So our leaders, top 3 are Michael East, Prune Tracy and Thomas Robert Shaw. Currently, due to strategy, but on track is Duke Delacroix, Adrian Palat and Robert Mitchell is our current top 3. Duke's gone for another lap and it's got really dark here at 8:30 p.m.
I'm back.
That is a Mercedes of a was that an Ethan Wilcox? Yes it was. So Ethan's back up and running now, got the car sorted. So while you've been gone, Harry, we've seen Robert Shaw in the pits.
Yep.
And Duke's now leading the race.
Beautiful. So, perhaps Duke will be playing the long game. We did to be honest, really, no matter how high you put your pressures, he wasn't that far off the pace. You're pretty much gonna need a new set of tyres. It's just not gonna work. Even if you jacked them up all the way to like something unreasonable for the start, you'd be awfully struggling on the start, which he didn't. He was a bit off the pace, but not that much.
Yeah, nothing.
But he could be playing a long game, staying out a bit longer, seeing what happens. There might be a weather switch up. You never know. So, it won't be long anyway until that car drains its tank.
No.
But yeah, so the top 4 now. I think someone just came in.
Yeah, Dad Palat's just come out behind Duke.
Yep. So the top 4. It was the top 5 a second ago, but now it's only really the top 4 that hasn't pitted. Of course, we've got I think George in P8 and Ethan Wilcox, which is pulled off on the side of the track. Yet to pit. So, who's that? It's just pulled into the pit lane. That is Broomy.
Chris Broome.
In the Bentley.
So this is he's one that usually likes a long game. And we've got someone else in the pits. Is that must be Smurvington? Is it? No, he's left.
Who is that? We've got yellow flags at. Oh, I'm stupid. I keep falling from my own track. Oh, there's a
yellow flag on the main straight. Who's that?
It's Beers. Oh, wait, no, it's. Yeah, it is Beers. Parked on the side of the road.
Parked on the side of the road, and then you got one at turn
Retiring.
1. Ethan again stopped at the end of turn 1. So I don't know what's going on here. Beers looks like he's retiring. Ethan Wilcox. So we go back on board with Duke. Rob Mitchell's in the pits to put Michael East up to 3rd on track with his pit stop. Now this will be interesting to see if Mitchell can jump Adrian here. They obviously having the battle all race. Adrian's got a lot of traffic in front of him. Has he? No? That's someone else in front of him. But we can't see anything at the moment. You can see a little bit of... so we're right on board here with Adrian just to get how dark it is out there at the moment. And there's not a lot of light. Still no sign of weather changing. Hopefully we get a bit of rain just to spice it up a little bit.
Would definitely be entertaining. So, this will be a little bit of a talking point here. The two sort of main championship rivals are the only two yet to pit. Obviously, a fair gap between them, about 13 seconds, I believe. But Duke Delacroix and Adrian Palat, the only two in the top 10 aside from Curry, left to pit. So we'll see what they're doing.
So are they the only three that haven't pitted?
They're the only three in the race that haven't pitted. We've got Wilcox, but he's sort of out of it. Yeah, they're the only two. So I'm not sure what they're doing strategy-wise. Surely not running it late on fuel alone and not changing tyres.
Adrian's had it off.
Oh, he has right into the gravel. He's just caught the grass on the entry.
He just tapped the grass coming down the hill.
Man, the grass around here, it's like glue.
On the grass, so.
Once you're in it, you just cannot escape it. You dip even half a tyre into it and it just sucks you in, no matter how hard you turn.
This nighttime driving, mate, it's caught a few out. East has lost a lot of time here to Tracy.
Has he?
And I'm just riding on board here with Tracy's from the cockpit view. And that steering wheel really glows almost to an off-putting amount. So from BMW and Fanatec, maybe change your LED lighting for that M4 steering.
That's glow heaps.
It does, doesn't it? It's very, very different. Obviously you want to know what buttons you're hitting, but
you don't want to get blinded by your own buttons.
No, it's kind of distracting, and I'm not even driving the car. Like. It's a Christmas tree. It is. It's very different. So this is still on. Tracy could still win this. Duke's obviously still yet to pit. So's Adrian. Robert Shaw's dropped off. Well, there's a lap car between him and Tracy. Be interesting to see where Duke comes out compared to Robert Shaw. There's someone entering pits. That's George. And there's someone behind him. That is Ethan Wilcox. In the chrome looking AMG. Wonder if he'll keep going or if that's the race for him. Duke's down a second on his PB. Still going, 35 laps in. 38 minutes to go. Are we going to see any rain? Are we going to see it get any colder? But it is very dark out there on the racetrack at the moment.
It is, yeah, pitch black. And the thing about this track, there's really no artificial lighting, like street lights placed around the track at all. Like on some tracks, I believe the Nürburgring's got a level of lighting around it. I'm not sure, but you know, there's absolutely none around here. It's purely on your headlights. Yep. You wouldn't want an electrical failure, that's for sure.
No. Yeah, it's very unique
situation. Adrian's in.
Ethan's
Adrian is in the box.
Oh, Adrian. Oh, there we go. Ethan got a 30-second stop go. For speeding, I'm assuming. So Michael East and Tracy pass. Michael East just went, why? You heard it. Robert Shaw's got Adrian. That was never a doubting factor. Adrian's out. Back on track. And a fair chunk behind Robert Shaw. Duke's in. Duke is in the box.
Oh, okay. So we'll watch this very closely. He is stopped in the pit lane, engine off. and we'll see the length of this pit stop.
I don't think the track's going to get any colder. If his tyres are up to temp, you might as well leave him on.
I know, that's what I'm thinking. And that'll be a huge benefit if he does.
If he does, but it doesn't look like he is. So East has just taken the lead. Again. With Tracy right behind him still. And then there is a third car right behind them.
Ooh, Robert Shaw is going to come right into the back of that rear wing. Come out right in the back of the rear wing of Duke. So that's really close there. Both of them catching the dirt on the exit there. But yeah, that was close.
Robert Shaw was in front of Duke.
Yeah, so
the overtakes actually helped Duke there.
Yeah.
So nighttime driving, and Mitchell's jumped Palat.
He has. That is a good point.
And then you got the two Palats.
Curry's in the fence at the final corner. Well, actually just Kane, and he's teleported back to pit, so that'll probably be a retirement for George there in the N4. And as I just said that, I'll come back to the front. Tracy's all over the back of East at the front here. It's really closed that gap. These two have not separated at all. Like, we had the pit window there where they sort of spread out a bit, but they're right back to the same gap we saw early. And just in the chat there, George lost his pedals.
Oh no.
We've gone straight on before the chicane. That's unfortunate.
That's very unfortunate. I've had that happen at Monza, actually, coming into turn 1. My brake pedal lost its support pin. As you see, Tracy's throwing up sparks. Yeah, I don't think East is overly confident here at night.
He might not be, because his pace has dropped off. Obviously, pace will drop off as the track gets really cold, but yeah, he's visibly less comfortable out there.
He's made a few more mistakes than what he normally would. Obviously running a bit wider and getting onto the dirt. So, not a lot of people do nighttime driving. It is very different to train yourself in the nighttime driving. And keep that focus at 110% to try and drive these things at the ragged edge. So Chris Broom, where are you at the moment? Coming down the hill with the Bridges and a Baxter right behind you. In the Porsches. Couldn't have two more different cars if you could try. Front mounted Bentley. All 4.5 tonnes worth of it. To a rear mounted flat 6 in the Porsche. All 1,500 kilos of it. It'd be interesting to see if Porsche would ever do a V8. It'd have to be a small V8, obviously, to get it in the back of the Porsche.
Yeah.
But they've been running a flat 6 for, 40 odd years.
It's the golden formula for Porsche, their golden signature, I might say. The old flat 6 engine, not even changing for anything they've made for, like you said, good 60 or so years. But it seems to be the right choice for them. To see a V8, I mean, it'd be a hell of a switch up, and I'm not sure the originalists would be happy with that, but yeah, it certainly makes one hell of a noise. There's nothing quite like a flat 6 Porsche engine.
No, nothing at all. Bridges is having a bit of a look here at Broomy. But no, yeah, that Porsche is definitely unique sounding. Is one of the nicer sounding cars, I personally think. Just the way it really screams at you when it's at the rev peak. fell in love with it when I was driving it at Paul Ricard, flat out. Back when we got Harry into ACC on the PC.
Yes. Best thing we did, I think.
Yeah. Now all we got to do is get rid of that iRacing. Oh, East is at a moment. East is at a massive moment.
Slide any more like that and you'll get too much heat in, and that'll really help Tracy out. Sliding's never good for those slick tyres.
No.
And Tracy's been better at the chicane all day. Can he get another run?
No, not that time through. Would it, I know some people would call it a bit of a, well, it's not ethically right, but flashing them into the hairpins just to let them know you're there. What's your opinion on that? Obviously, if it's a lapped car, it's a completely different scenario, but yeah, what's your opinion on getting in their head and just letting them know that you're there racing?
Like, from Tracy's perspective?
Yeah.
No, I don't see anything wrong with it at all. If it's obnoxious, like, you know, if you're sitting on the flash button the whole way around the lap, and that's all you're doing, that's kind of annoying. But I see absolutely nothing wrong with getting in their head. You know, swerve a little bit, get in their mirrors, give them a flash every now and then if you're getting right up close to them. That's sportsmanship. That's motorsport. We need a bit of that.
Yeah.
And I don't see anything wrong with that at all. It's called putting on the pressure.
Yeah, Roger. And just have a look at that glowing exhaust of the M4 down the
I've just
side.
noticed that. Yeah, absolutely red hot.
Don't see too many brake discs red hot, but we see a massive exhaust pipe glowing there on that M4. Even at the rear of the Audi. Now, how old is that R8, Harry? 2015, I think they first.
I mean, the most previous one before, like, I mean, this brand new one, I believe is 2018 or 19, and then there's a 2015 one. The one that, I mean, which one are you looking at?
Well, I'm just wondering what Audi in real life are thinking. You know, obviously always moving forward, and the 2022 model's a little bit different with the rear wing, but apart from that, it hasn't really changed since it came
in terms of the looks.
GT League, you know, into the aero department and all that.
Yeah, I mean, the difference from the 2015 to the, like, 18-19 is actually kind of drastic. Like, I'm fairly sure the rear diffuser is nowhere near as complex. I think the front end sat a little bit higher and there's a bit less aero on the front, which is, you know, a consistent pattern across, you know, all the GT3 cars. But yeah, from the 2019 to this current one, the 2022, there's really not a lot of difference. Obviously, you've got that rear wing that's changed up quite a bit. And I think slightly different front bumper on the right, like on the sides.
Yep.
But yeah, barely any difference.
Yeah, might be a few more computers or something within the shell, but yeah, externally hasn't really changed all that much. And with motorsport, innovation is key, and if you get caught running the same thing for too long, you'll end up falling backwards, won't you? So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see in the near future of what Audi do with that car, because yeah, I'm pretty sure 15 was their first model of the R8, even as a street car, which obviously they need to be before they can be classed as a GT car. They need to pass strict sales and everything else, so they can't just build a car and then go, we're going to throw this in the GT3 category. They can do that and throw it in LMP1 or GTE maybe. I don't know what GTE regulations are. Obviously they're more 24-hour enduros, spec cars, so bigger fuel tanks, a bit less downforce maybe. But yeah, so nothing really to report here racing, which is why we're just rambling. Adrian collapsed, caught Rob Mitchell by quite a bit. Pulled 4/10 that lap. So Darren's still pushing Broomy for 8.
So after the hiccup from East earlier, he's actually getting a bit of a gap from Tracy here.
Yeah, he's 2/10
Brought it out a bit. So picking up the pace, collecting his pieces up from the mistakes, and he's hitting his apexes. He's keeping tidy, and he's bridged that gap out to about 1.2 seconds here.
Yep.
With 25 minutes to go. He's got a bit of lap traffic up the road. Who's that? It's car number 17. It's Wilcox. Sorry, he's in 17th. Car number 266.
Yeah, position 17.
Yep.
Yep.
So I believe he's just got on the headlights there. And Wilcox, you'd think, pretty respectable driver. He'll move out the way, as he does.
Get out the way, yep.
Beautiful work. Love to see it.
It's a bit of a shame seeing Ethan running at the back of the pack.
It is.
Obviously with
it is.
Ukraine as well, B-Slades in between both of them. But yeah, bit of a shame. Ethan can actually pit B-Slades. When Ethan crosses the line next, they'll be on the same lap.
Yep. So
that is still a fight there, maybe?
Perhaps. So, big thing here. So Duke's made his way onto the podium from, well, I think he started in 4th.
Yeah, he started.
So, if you can't get the win, which is, we're actually quite surprised he wasn't right up at the front, at least he can take over the podium to end the season. I think he started 4th, did he not?
I think Adrian was 4th.
You might be right. Yeah, it's actually a good point. Sorry, I'm being a bit silly at the moment. But, I'll be ending the season on a good note.
Bridges has got past Broomy.
He sure has.
Unfortunately, we didn't catch that on stream. But now Chris is in a Porsche sandwich. They've actually dropped Baxter quite a bit. Baxter was right behind both of them as he just shortcuts the chicane completely. Speaking of exhaust pipes, that Porsche lights up the rear quite well with the exhaust glow coming out the rear end. It's almost like he's got 2 extra lights down the bottom. So, back up to the front. Nothing really happening with 23 minutes left. It's still saying there's clear skies. We've currently dropped 11 degrees in track temp out there. So, what do we got? We got a Porsche in the pits. That's Baxter. He also missed his pit stall. So he's lost time to Crossland. And now Foster. And Huddy. Falconer. He's coming out into the final hairpin. Can he get a Baxter as well?
To see. Who's in the pit lane?
Baxter.
Oh, yeah, Baxter, yeah.
I think he's retiring that car. No visible damage I can see. He has been there for a while.
Sad to see that because he was putting in a pretty good effort. But yeah, retiring the car. I'm not sure what's going on there. I'll have to have a chat with him later on, but at the moment, 20 minutes to go in this 1.5 hour race. East and Tracy are still close together. However, East has run away slightly. Duke trails them by about 10 seconds, give or take.
Yeah, about the main straight.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Robert Shaw follows close behind, and Adrian rounds out the top 5. Seems pretty stable at the moment. We haven't had any weather changes in terms of rain. Obviously, we've had a drastic temperature decrease. The track down now 11, I think, degrees from when we just gridded up.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's no weather changes, but certainly conditions, temperature-wise, have changed quite a bit.
We've got a couple of extra Ks on wind as well from last I looked. It was 7, now it's 10. So the wind's picked up. Yellow flags. No, green flag. I've lost my mouse. Yeah, there it is. So Baxter's still in the pits. I reckon that's a retirement there from Baxter. Unfortunate for him. Mark B is coming around to the final corner. Got a Bentley. Chris Broomy. Chris Broomy going slow. Oh, that's to let the leaders through. It's right out of the way. Good work there, Broomy. Sad to see Bentley no longer in GT3 racing. In real life, obviously. I don't think they'll come back either, unfortunately. Had a really good car a couple of years at the Bathurst 12 hour. Took it out 1 year, if I'm not mistaken. In the... Was it the 10H, I think it was, Bentley? Mark Beers just getting out of the way there for Tracy's. Cost Tracy a bit of time, actually. Bit of lap traffic. He's gone deep into the chicane, maybe taking his corner cut warning. Which I'm surprised there's not more corner cuts in this.
I mean, really, the only place where you'd probably get caught out with track limit extensions would be the chicane. Typically, anywhere else you try to extend the limits around here, you're just going to get caught in the grass and get sent into the fence.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'd really only be the chicane, but it's a pretty easy one to get right after a few laps. So,
it's a pretty easy one to turn that split second early in your you're cutting the curb.
True.
I mean,
True.
We've done 48 laps. And I think we've only seen one drive through for track limits, and I think that might have been a Daniel. So let's wrap up the season here, Harry, while we just watch Tracy do his thing.
Yep.
So, what's your thoughts on the season so far? Well, yeah, what's your thoughts on season 6, mate?
It's been absolutely awesome to sit back and watch it from a spectator's point of view. Obviously, had a go at it in the GTR back at Old Park. But yeah, it's been an awesome idea from the get-go, making people... It allows drivers to get a taste of different cars, go out their comfort zone a bit, and that obviously provides for good racing, which was a good shake-up from last season. And it's been really competitive. You know, you've got the people... Sorry, voice crack. Jesus Christ. You've got the people, you know, like Duke, that, you know, they usually really up there and they're getting wins. But we've really seen a bunch of battle packs and duos and trios fighting it out in the mid-pack. And it's been so good to watch these battles unfold. There really hasn't been too many, you know, big accidents where there's been arguments. There's been a few, but really not many. And yeah, it's just been an overall really good season in the combox rather than the driver's seat this season. It's been awesome.
Yeah, I'll have to second you there. it's opened a lot of people up to driving something different that they wouldn't normally drive, as we now go on to Paul Huddy, as I've got the program doing its own thing now. And it's just it just show everyone something different, and really got people thinking. I don't know if it made them think further ahead on what car to use for what track, what's going to be quick here, what's going to be quick there, but certainly something different for us, and obviously coming to a couple of different tracks that we don't normally run, and cutting out a few that we normally run every season, like your Bathurst and Spa we haven't been to this season, but we're here, we've been Paul Ricard, it's something different. Obviously there's always going to be your haters and whatnot, but I think the majority of the people, and how we've got such a big turnout week in, week out is always something different for everyone. So congratulations to the guys that have organised it, and I'd have to say it's been one of the better seasons that I've seen anyway. So So 15 minutes to go, down to 15 degrees. Riding on board Foster with Paul Huddy tucked in right behind him, battling for P11. Then we jumped to Ukraine for some reason. He's got no one near him. He's off in the dirt, coming down the hill. You can still hear that AMG even from the helicopter cam screaming its head off. Still 10k winds battling here. Still like to know who took out that braking marker there at turn 6, I think it is, 7. And scattered it all over the racetrack.
I guess you can't blame them, but they've also got some headlights, boys. Come on, let's stay on the grey stuff.
Yeah. Back to Foster and Huddy here. Tracy's just fallen off the back there of East now. It's 4-second gap. So whether or not East is pulled comfortably every lap, or Tracy's had a couple of bad ones, but I think that battle's, well, I don't want to speak too soon, but I'd almost think that battle's over and done with for the lead, unless East has a massive moment, which we have seen from time to time. Can Adrian catch Robert Shaw? Is that even a possibility? So Robert Shaw's on the back straight, Adrian's coming up the hill, so no, that's not a possibility. There's 2, 4, 5 cars in between them. So now we ride on board Bridges, who is, there's Chris Broom. He's left Chris Broom for dead. Chris Broom's about to get lapped by Robert Shaw. So that's a bit daunting. So let's turn this autopilot off, because that does my head in.
Back the old-fashioned way. East has run away a little bit. He's bringing the gap out. Oops, that is my drink bottle. East has run away a little bit. 4.3 seconds is the gap to Tracy, and seems to be, at the moment at least, he's got this race in the bag. 52 laps in. That just goes to show how short this track is. It is a long race, an hour and a half, but that is a fair few laps. Yeah, I mean, not really a whole lot else happening.
No, there's no real tight battles. Ethan Wilcox has got past Beers, but that's as high as he's going to get. He's 15th, and 7 laps off the lead. As Ukraine is another 3 laps in front of him. So, yeah, Wilcox has got Beerslayer. They are Lion and Stowe on circuit. So that's Wilcox there at the bottom of the screen. So he just had a moment at the hairpin. He's dancing from left to right as well down the straight. Maybe suffering a bit of tyre temperature issues. And just another thanks to all the new guys that have come out throughout the season. And I'm not going to try and remember who any of us are, but I know we've had quite a few. Pretty sure Tracy's new.
Yeah, it's been really good to see Jandal welcome in so many new drivers, because we really do have an awesome community here of people that just love racing. You know, Jandal isn't just about ACC. It's not just even about racing. You know, it's just a group of people that, you know, have similar passions for video games or motorsport in general, sport in general. It's just a good community, and especially on the ACC side of things, we've had a lot of new people coming in and enjoying league racing from an Oceania perspective, which is actually quite limited on this game in particular, just being mostly Europe-based. So, yeah, we've got an awesome foundation here and an awesome community, which is awesome to see.
Just with 9 minutes to go, I've just noticed Duke has actually got in front of Tracy. So Tracy's had a massive off somewhere.
Oh my lord, how have I not noticed that?
35.4 last lap compared to Duke's 28 flat, so he lost 15 seconds somewhere.
Let's have a look.
So Duke now P2, and with Adrian in P5, from what you were saying, they are our 2 championship contenders. Michael East has missed a few races, been disqualified from 1. But Duke might get disqualified from this yet, being in the M4 again.
Just looking on the replay, as you come down the hill, and in the approaching into the second sector, in the right-hander, as you come up the hill,
yep,
he's actually caught the grass on the exit, and he's spun it around, and he's hit the fence all the way on the right side of the track, past the grass. So, yeah, he's lost a bunch of time in that, and that's allowed Duke to catch up and get that position.
So, just over 7 minutes to go, we're down to 14 degrees track temp. So who's your outstanding driver of the season, Harry?
Of the season? Well, when it comes down to pace, I think anyone that's been paying attention to the season would say Duke. But in terms of, you know, overall impressiveness, I'm going to hand it to Tracy. You know, he's come in, I'm fairly sure he's a new guy here, and he's been consistent day in, day out, and he's consistently improved. You know, we've seen him come up through the field, racing for really podiums in the last few races, and it's just been awesome to see him develop and then be there for some awesome results consistently. I'm going to give it to Tracy. Mark?
I'm going to give it to I don't know, man. There was some outstanding races from Falconer. There was a good one from Huddy, I think, Nürburgring Huddy. Bridges at... Oh, where was his good race? His was early on in the season, I do believe. Rob Mitchell, he's had a good season as well. Yeah, I'd have to give it to one of these newer guys. Yeah, it's hard to put your finger on just one though. I mean, they've all had exceptional. Like you said, Duke from outright pace coming at race one, and pretty much hasn't put a foot wrong. There's been a race here or there. I remember Nürburgring, he put on the wrong tyres. That was a wet dry race. Put on the wrong tyres and ruined his race. He had a 40-second lead before his pit. And he ended up DNFing that. Had a couple of races with East, battling with Duke and East, and that was fiery there for a bit. You know, Palat's always at the pointy end. Wilcox from Nürburgring starting in pit lane to win it. You know, it's just there's too many, mate. They've all had an outstanding drive somewhere through this season. And yeah, they've all just impressed me, mate, with how quick they can be on their day. Yeah, so take my hat off to each and every one of them. Obviously, we're a few short tonight, which is a bit of a shame being the final race. But that's the way life is sometimes. And you've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 DNF from this race. Is that Duke? Am I riding on board Duke? I am. He's had enough.
Oh, he has!
Duke's had enough.
Wow.
And Tracy's back in P2.
We've got a fight on our hands now, Mark. This is exactly what we needed to cap off this race. A little bit of action. We've been a bit dry.
Yeah. Duke hit the fence pretty hard there.
So Duke now on the chase.
Yeah. So we've caught that, just rambling. I was slightly watching. Well, actually...
Yeah, wow. He's actually got a fair bit of damage on the front of that M4. The bonnet's actually sticking up a bit, Mark.
Yeah,
He'll be lucky to catch onto the back of Tracy now.
I was just about to say that bonnet's actually kicked up. Don't know how bad Tracy's contact was on the fence. Obviously, he hasn't done enough. I wonder if that'll give Duke any power loss performance. Yeah, but you can just... Yeah, it's... Anyway, 4 minutes to go. Lack of concentration at 11... Well, with 20 past 11 virtual time.
Yeah, it's run really late here, and the track down to 14 degrees. It sort of hit a point where it was dropping really fast, and then it sort of stabilized out a little bit, but it's certainly a hell of a lot colder than we started on, and that's the fact of the matter. At the moment, though, it looks like East is still got this race in the bag. A considerable gap back to Tracy. Now, they were close for the better part of the race, but yeah, East outperforming everyone today. Incredible, consistent pace. You've still got about 2 laps left to possibly bin it, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, I mean, we've seen mistakes from second and third.
True.
Why not first and fourth, and we'll get Chris Broomy up here into the podium. But no, yeah, it's a very interesting race. That's for sure. They'll complete 60 laps, I think. Looking at the time.
And I think as well, just looking at the leaderboard here, I believe we started with 22 drivers. We've since had 6 retirements, 16 drivers still out on track, which, you know, for an hour and a half long race at a pretty tricky circuit, That's not bad. That's not bad. Would have been nice maybe to see a few more finish, but 16 is still plenty of cars.
And considering the last two are 7 laps down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
props to him for standing it.
Yeah, even Ukraine is 5 laps, or 4 laps down. So even those bottom 3, mate, just to be in your head and go, I'll still finish this. I won't just quit. So yeah, props to everyone for sticking it out. I know how hard it is to talk to yourself and stay on the track when you're that far behind. Props to everyone. As East has just gone wide there.
See, there you go. Like, what if he dropped it and put it in the fence then?
That's right. I mean,
that's how much it takes.
What if Bridges couldn't not miss him and T-bone him?
Exactly. That's endurance racing.
Take out fucking Bridges as well.
East is on the final lap, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's only right to ride on board with East as he finishes up this long race, an hour and a half. He's on the flashlights. He's doing a bit of swerving. Cannot blame the guy. He's had an outstanding drive here at Donington Park to round out season 6 of the Jandal Racing Series. That exhaust on the back end of that Audi, well, the exhaust's absolutely red hot. Almost looks like another set of tail lights. But East coming around the second to last hairpin, the box hairpin, as we called it a little bit earlier. Still swerving in that brand new Audi R8. That is one way to introduce the Evo 2 Audi R8. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael East, your race winner for the final round of Season 6. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, Easty. And this race for second is all but done. Tracy should come home with that, with the less...
Robert Shaw's right on the back of Duke. A couple more laps, I reckon.
Oh, gee, that is Robert Shaw right on the back. So they both dropped off a lot.
Yeah, big time.
Massive damage there on the two M4s. Adrian Palat.
That's your race winner.
Crossland with a penalty. Adrian Palat. Is that Rob Mitchell right behind him? No, it's not. So Adrian coming into the final hairpin. He's gone very deep. On the exit, sees the fireworks. TC under 0. Right on board here, see what he's going to do. He just gets a shitload of understeer and puts it into the fence. Dad Palat.
Perfect.
Coming around the Melbourne hairpin. To round us out, I think he will be the last one across the line, if I am not mistaken. Got the leader behind him. Great racing
and
there.
That is the final race of the season, Mark.
So,
done and dusted.
Done and dusted. Rooney gets a T-bone from Dad Palat for his good efforts. So on that bombshell, Harry, thank you for coming in the combox, mate, and joining us here.
My pleasure. My absolute pleasure.
And we'll see you all again season 7. I don't think we'll do any of the special events. But keep this this timetable free, guys. There are a few events in the works. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in for the season, and we'll see you all next season.
Thank you very much, everybody. Ta-da.